Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mountain View High School for tonight's boys varsity volleyball game. Tonight we're featuring the Mountain View Spartans versus the St. Francis Lancers. It's Monday, April 22nd, 2013. Just going through the regular check-in here. We'll be starting here in just about 30 seconds, and while we're waiting for the down ref to check everybody off, let me tell you that tonight's game is brought to you by KMVT's All Sports presenting sponsors. That's the Palo Alto Medical Foundation, which is part of the Sutter Health Network. Choose your PAMF doctor today. And by Home Instead Senior Care. Home Instead provides the personalized in-home care your loved one needs. Home Instead, to them, it's personal. And here we go with the first serve. St. Francis visitors, first serve. Quick back set by Mountain View, off the block, and it goes wide. First point goes to Mountain View. That's McLaughlin, Ryan McLaughlin back to serve for Mountain View. Ryan is a junior this year. Little jump float serve. Quick set across, tipped. St. Francis able to push it back. Cross set. That's Stubner with it. Pushed over by Mountain View. Good recovery by St. Francis. Off the block. That was Jake Stubner and Alec McDonald there with a block for Mountain View. McLaughlin back to serve again. Shanked wide. Good recovery by St. Francis, and it goes wide. Same jump float serve. Quick set. Good recovery by Mountain View. Setter wasn't able to make it there in time. Jimenez back to serve. Little quick set. That was McDonald, not able to get it over. Jimenez to serve again. Quick set off the block. Back. Just blocked by St. Francis, but Mountain View recovers. Cross court. Back set to Stubner. Into the net. Score tied at 3 here. First game of this best-of-5 match. Off the roof, off the ceiling. Nice block there by Mountain View. That was Stubner and McDonald on the block. Linesman called that one in. That was right on the line. Stubner with a powerful jump serve. Steps back a little farther this time. Left-handed, good dig. Nice recovery by Mountain View. Nice cross court there. Let's work back to serve. Little back set, off the block. They called net on St. Francis on that one. Mountain View coming into this with an undefeated 22-0 record overall, 8-0 in the league. St. Francis 17-8, 7-3 in the league. It's Fritchie back to serve into the net. Hazelwork back to serve. Sophomore. Good dig by St. Francis. Blocked by Mountain View. Nicely hung up there. That was Colton Stearns. Alec Dunn coming in for Mountain View. Off the block. Almost a great recovery there by McLaughlin. Costello back to serve for St. Francis. Little quick set off the block. Nice back set by St. Francis over the block, and it goes long. Kurt Dettinger back to serve. Oh, goes under the net. Timeout call by St. Francis. We're here in the first set of this best-of-5 match. Fairly evenly matched set, although Mountain View's ahead 10-6. Mountain View with a perfect record so far this year. Mountain View, the relatively smaller team. St. Francis with a little bit more depth, a few younger players, a few sophomores in there. Take a look at the standings. See St. Francis is at third. They're coming in at 7-3 as a league record and 17-8 overall. Archbishop Mitty, of course, perennial powerhouse in the lead. Mountain View is leading in the SCVAL, the Santa Clara Valley Athletic League. Contains Monte Vista, Homestead, Lynbrook, Harker, Kings Academy, and Los Gatos. Teams are coming back here on the court after talking with their coach, Mike Rubin. Spartan coach Tony Chen. Dettinger back to serve again. Tough serves. Just over the block. Off the ceiling, good recovery by St. Francis. They called it a lift, double hit they called. Dettinger's left-handed serves are a little harder to handle. They spin differently. Ooh, off the ceiling, and it goes into the stands. St. Francis back to serve. Little short drop serve. Quick set, off the block. Blocked by Mountain View, but it just trailed on their side of the net. St. Francis to serve. Short again. And it goes wide. No touch called. Point goes to St. Francis. Dettinger from the back row. Little set up, quick one. It was a little quick back two, I think. A little hard to see from here off the Mountain View block. Point St. Francis. Nice little rally. St. Francis has gotten 3 quick points here. Off the block and it goes deep. Point to Mountain View. McDonald coming in. Little jump set to the back row, off the block, or off the tape. Stubner brings it in, and that's 4 hits. Elliott Lowe back to serve for St. Francis. Stubner off the block. Ran along the tape on St. Francis' side. Beautiful kill there. That was Jimenez for St. Francis. Elliott Lowe back to serve. Stubner just dinks it over. St. Francis there with the block. Good recovery. Pushed in and it goes long. It goes wide. So St. Francis takes the lead. Up 13-12. Cross court set to Stubner. Stubner off the block. And it goes past the block. Nicely played by St. Francis. And Mountain View calls a timeout. So St. Francis takes the lead by 2 points here in this first game. 5-point rally coming back. It's a hot night here in Mountain View, into the 90s. Of course, these two teams draw from many of the same schools, so many of these players know each other for many, many years, played together for a long time. Great crosstown rival. We'll see if this timeout by Anthony Chen can slow St. Francis down. St. Francis to serve, leading by 2. First game of the best of 5. Elliott Lowe to serve again. Mountain View there with the block. And that was 12 for, that was Deneen putting it through the Mountain View block. And they call net on Mountain View. St. Francis takes a 4-point lead. They've had a 7-point run here. Stubner there breaks it with putting it down in the front of the block. McLaughlin back to serve for Mountain View. Off the block, good recovery by Mountain View. Stumner. Good dig by St. Francis. Nicely placed there. That was Logan Allen with the kill down the line. Little float serve. Very nice quick one there. Quick set right in the middle. Mountain View got up with a block, but it was too late. Jimenez back to serve. And it goes long. Stubner with the jump serve. Off the Mountain View block, goes wide. Point to St. Francis. Ellsworth back to serve. Right down the line. Nice kill there by Logan Allen. And it goes long for Mountain View. Point to St. Francis. Ellsworth back to serve again for St. Francis. Tight pass, beautifully set there. Nicely done. That was Alec Flowers with the kill. Alex Dunn back to serve for Mountain View. Nice back row attack there. Just over the tape. Mountain View wasn't ready for it. Jeff Costello back to serve for St. Francis. Leading by 3. Nice block there by Flowers. And it goes long. They're discussing here whether there was a touch on the Mountain View side. And they're calling it point to St. Francis, called a touch on Mountain View. St. Francis up by 4. Jeff Costello back to serve again. Beautiful cut there. That was by Kurt Dettinger. Left-handed right down the tape. Dettinger into the net. Tough point to go into the net at this stage in the game. St. Francis up by 4. And it goes wide. We have a timeout called by Mountain View, trailing by 5 here in this first match. Want to thank you. KMVT Sports would like to thank Homestead Senior Care for their continuing support of high school sports programming. Homestead, to them, it's personal. Mountain View needing to turn things around here, trailing by 5. With an undefeated record this year, they're going to need to pick things up. Team's coming back on the court here. Mountain View needs a side out on this one right now. Little dink over, but St. Francis was there. Off the tape, and we have set point here. Over to Stubner and off the block. And St. Francis wins the first set. Quite a surprise here for Mountain View. And we'll be coming back for game 2 in just a minute.
My parents are really slowing down. I feel bad I can't always be there for them.
How do I choose between caring for my mother and caring for my own family?
I've been looking into the options, but Dad doesn't want to leave his home. What do I do?
Struggling to care for an aging parent? You're not alone. Learn how Home Instead Senior Care can provide the personalized in-home care your loved one needs. Home Instead. To us, it's personal.
Ever since we moved to the United States, Palo Alto Medical Foundation has been taking care of our health. We love our doctor. She is always ready to listen to us and is very professional and answers all our questions and is very reassuring. PAMF has been there not just for my own family, but for the whole community, whether they're seeing patients or providing doctors for our free medical clinic.
Getting ready for game 2 here. McLaughlin back to serve for Mountain View. Pushed over the net. Oh, and mishandled. That was by Mountain View. Alec McDonald had a plum sitting up there and wasn't able to push it over.
Let's go, Mountain View, come on.
Elliot Lowe back to serve for St. Francis. And they call 4 hits on Mountain View. Mountain View had a tough time handling these little short drop serves. Pushed over. Back set by Lowe. Stubner with a set to the back row attack. Dettinger, and it goes long. St. Francis off to a strong start here in set 2. Lowe with the serve. Back to Stubner off the block. Little dink blocked by Mountain View. And it goes between the blockers. Point to St. Francis. Low back to serve. Little float serve. Quick set in the middle. And he gets way underneath it and goes way long. Point to St. Francis. Low with a quick serve, trying to take advantage of this rally. Up by 5. Stubner with a little dink in the middle. Good recovery and quick set and down. Nicely played there by Matt Larson for St. Francis. And Mountain View wisely calls a timeout, down by 6, and we'll be back right after this timeout.
Hi, I'm Ricky Appler with Spartan Sports Camp. Brought to you by the Mountain View High School Athletic Department, Spartan Sports Camp offers multi-sport camps for kids in grades 3 through 6, as well as sport-specific camps for grades 6 through 9. We give campers the opportunity to receive instruction from the Mountain View High School coaching staff and student athletes. Strength camps are also available throughout the summer. For registration info, visit our website at www.spartansportscamp.com. Sessions begin June 10th and run weekly through August 2nd. We look forward to seeing you this summer.
St. Francis here with the rally. Starting off set number 2, we're up 6-zip. Low, 6 straight points. St. Francis is definitely fired up. Mountain View's having a tough time sort of getting it all together. That was a nice block by St. Francis. Another quick serve by Low. Cross court set. Nicely put right down the line. Mountain View needed to break that run, obviously. Stubner back to serve. Nice jump serve, cross back row attack for St. Francis, just dinked it over. Off the block. That was Deneen and Matt Larson on the block for St. Francis. And Jimenez back for the to serve for St. Francis. Up 8-1 in set 2. Down the line, but nice recovery by St. Francis. They called a double hit there on Stubner. Good recovery, but they called a double hit. Nice cross-court kill there by Kurt Dettinger. The libero for Mountain View, Colin Fitchie, goes back to serve. Just outside the block. Good recovery by Mountain View. Never made it over the net. Off the tape. Fritzy back to serve again. Little float serve. Nice cut inside the block there by Deneen for St. Francis. You got a hand on it, but not enough to bring it back in. Cross-court kill, but good recovery by St. Francis. They called St. Francis on something. Alex Dunn back to serve, trailing 4-10. Into the net. Mountain View playing a little flat tonight. Islesworth back to serve for St. Francis. They called net on St. Francis. Point goes to Mountain View. The up ref was swatting at a fly, and everybody was trying to figure out what he was calling. Dettinger back to serve. Powerful jump serve. And it goes wide, and they call a touch. No touch call. Yes, they did call a touch. Yep, ref called the touch on that one, although it went way long. Costello back to serve. Very tight. And they call Mountain View for going over the net on that one. He brought the ball back over the net. It had passed the tape too far.
Here we go, MV. Let's go, guys.
And they call it long. The crowd is not happy. The line judge is right on top of it, though. Costello back to serve, 14-5, leading here in set 2. And it goes wide. Mountain View is definitely having a tough match here, and they call their second time out. So hopefully Mountain View can get their mojo back. And we'll be coming back in just a minute for the last part of set 2.
Ever since Dad died, taking care of Mom is overwhelming. I can't do it on my own.
Sure, my mother needs me, but I just want to be a daughter again.
Mom wants to stay in her home, but needs more help than ever. It just can't be me all the time.
Struggling to care for an aging parent? You're not alone. Learn how Home Instead Senior Care can provide the personalized in-home care your loved one needs. Home Instead. To us, it's personal.
We're here at Mountain View High School on a warm night. Crosstown rivals St. Francis Lancers against the Mountain View Spartans. Mountain View with an undefeated record this year at 22-0, but absolutely getting a run for their money. St. Francis won the first set rather handily. Not that handily, but they won. And they're up 15-5 here in set 2. Mountain View having a tough time getting their act together. Costello back to serve. And it goes into the net. That timeout did what they intended it to do, is to break the streak of St. Francis. So Flowers back to serve for Mountain View. Only one person unblocked out for Mountain View. St. Francis is able to get it past. Stubner goes cross court and goes wide. Tough miss hit there by Mountain View. St. Francis to serve, trying to go quickly with these little short serves. Mountain View having a tough time handling them. Nice little dink right over there by McLaughlin. Mountain View's having a tough time getting these the serves that are coming inside the 10-foot line. So St. Francis is capitalizing on that. Good recovery after it bounced off the ceiling. And Mountain View puts it right in the middle. That was Stubner with a beautifully placed little dink. And they called that on St. Francis. Mountain View with a little quick rally here. Score doubled by St. Francis, 18-9. Beautiful serve there. That was McLaughlin with a killer down the line jump serve. Nice try by St. Francis, and St. Francis calls a timeout now. Mountain View with a little quick run of 6 points. I'm sorry, 4 points. So I'd like to tell you that KMVT Sports presenting sponsor is the Palo Alto Medical Foundation, which is part of the Sutter Health Network. Choose your PAMF doctor today. Mountain View with a little bit of a comeback here. They were needing a change, of course. St. Francis definitely giving them a run for their money. Mountain View with a smaller team. St. Francis with a little more depth, a few more younger players. St. Francis always a powerhouse, especially in the women's side. McLaughlin back to serve. Another nice jump serve. Never made it over the net. Stubner was there with the block. And it goes long. We got a little bit underneath that and about 4 feet long. Mountain View trailing by 8. Back set to Stubner off the block and goes wide. Quick little push, one set, back row to Stubner, little dink. Good recovery by St. Francis and blocked by Mountain View. Good recovery. Nice rally here. Back row by St. Francis, it goes long. Nice rally. Stubner into the net. The throw is a little low. Jimenez back to serve for St. Francis. Little float serve. Just fisted over there by Mountain View. Back set, off the block. Goes up to the rafters. Blocked again. Little collision there, but I think they're both all right. Jimenez back to serve. Little float serve. Back row. They call it touch. Point goes to St. Francis. Jimenez with a serve. Beautifully played there by Dettinger. Outside the block, down the line. Ritchie back to serve. Little float. Pushed by St. Francis. Miss hit there. Left-hander call. Steve Deneen just misplayed that. Another float serve. Off the block. Dettinger with a kill, but blocked by St. Francis. Down the line and call it in. St. Francis arguing the call. That was right at his feet, so you got to think that he could see that very clearly. Cross-court set. Went right through the Mountain View block. St. Francis up by 7 here toward the end of the second set. Quick set. St. Francis is there, cross court, off the block. Didn't make it across the net. 4 hits. Mountain View still has a chance. Alec Dunn comes in. Just dribbles over the net. Oh, St. Francis almost got that back. And St. Francis calls a timeout now. We'll be back in just a minute for the completion of set 2.
As a busy mom of 3 kids, I find it extremely convenient to access My Health Online. My Health Online's messaging service allows me to keep in close contact with our doctor.
Being able to email the doctor with questions gave us assurance that they do take an interest in the patients. That's why we've been with PAN for more than 10 years and keep adding members, the newest member.
Almost to here at the end of set 2. St. Francis has definitely been in charge this set. Mountain View on a bit of a comeback. They have a long way to go. They were down 18-9, and we're now at 23-18. Done with the serve. Off the block. Mountain View was there with the block, but they were able to push it past. So we have a set point here for St. Francis, up 24-18. Ellsworth back to serve for St. Francis. Little float. Dettinger, nicely done. Dettinger with a lot of power. Mountain View needs 5 uninterrupted points here just to stay in the game. Good dig by St. Francis. Pushed over, little dink. And that goes set to St. Francis. So St. Francis with the first 2 sets here in this best of 5. And we'll be coming back for set 3 in just a minute. Okay, getting ready here for the start of set 3. St. Francis taking the first 2 sets handily, I should say. Low with the serve. First serve, set 3. Set over to Dettinger. That was what they needed. They needed that. That was Logan Allen with the kill there for Mountain View. McLaughlin back to serve for Mountain View. Mountain View coming out strong here. Coach Chen must have said something. Off the tape, pulled up by St. Francis, little push over, good recovery by Mountain View. Little dink over. Back row attack, dink in the middle. And they call point. Oh no, there's a little confusion there by the up and down ref, but they're giving the point to St. Francis. Jimenez back to serve. Just over the block. It looked like it was going in. The Spartans trying to recover, but not able to. Jimenez has been one of the top servers for St. Francis tonight. Outside hitter, sophomore. Into the net. That'll teach me to say something nice about him. Flowers back to serve for Mountain View. Getting instructions from the coach for as far as placement goes. And it goes long. I don't think that was one of the options. Score tied at 3. Larson to serve for St. Francis. Push to Stubner. Got a little bit underneath it. Off the ceiling. Mountain View able to recover. One. Stubner with a set. Back to Stubner. Nice placement cross court. Logan Allen back to serve. Nice little drop in the middle off the block, but falls on their side of the net. Point goes to St. Francis. Those are worth coming in for St. Francis to serve. Well, they call net on Mountain View. Setter backed into it. A nice no spin serve. Quick little set by Mountain View. Set goes over the net, and they call St. Francis for going under the net. Stubner back to serve. Score tied at 5. Here in set 3, St. Francis up 2-0. Getting instructions from the coach as far as placement. Outside set to low. Into the net. That was Ryan McLaughlin trying to push it over. Costello back for the serve. Nice back set to Dinger. Good dig by St. Francis. Back row attack, off the block, and it goes wide. That was Alec McDonald with the block. Costello back to serve for St. Francis. One block up for St. Francis there, and that was Ryan McLaughlin with a strong cross-court kill. Alec Dunn back to serve for Mountain View. Little float. Tight. Nice block by Dettinger. Another block by Dettinger. That was Dettinger and Alec Flowers on the block. Crowd's getting a little fired up, as you can tell. Score tied at 7. Must-win set here for Mountain View. Done to serve. Little float to the back corner. Nice back set. Dink over. Nice placement on the dink. That was Logan Allen, wasn't quite able to get there. Tried to pancake it up.
Let's go, Melody, come on.
Little short serve there by St. Francis. Back set to Denninger off the block. Falls in the middle. Denninger to serve. Cross court. He's able to get those inside the double block by Mountain View. Low to serve. A little short set that somehow he got over. St. Francis up by 2 here. A little float serve. Beautiful block there by, that was Alexander Jimenez for St. Francis. St. Francis is definitely playing well tonight. Little push over there. And it goes long. St. Francis is doing a smart thing. They're controlling the tempo of the game. They're playing fast, and it's showing in Mountain View's play. They're not able to recover. So we had a little break here, and let me tell you that this game is brought to you by Home Instead Senior Care. Home Instead, to them, it's personal. And by the Palo Alto Medical Foundation. Choose your PAMF doctor today. Both longtime supporters of local high school athletics, and we appreciate all that they do for us. Hope that you would support our sponsors. St. Francis is ahead by 4 here in this best of 5 match. Set 3 could be the last set. St. Francis definitely playing inspired. Mountain View struggled to get it going. They'll have a couple of rallies and then it'll bog down. Coach Jen doing everything he can to try to get the team rallied. Low back to serve. Up by 4. Little quick set. Nice block there. That was by Matt Larson for St. Francis. Perfectly timed. Pushed over. And Larson again. St. Francis has been in charge this whole match. Low to serve again. Little jump float. Quick set in the middle, and it goes wide. Back set with a little pancake up. Stubner with a bump. Great dig there by St. Francis. And a lot of miscommunication there. St. Francis is just on a tear. And we have a second timeout called by Mountain View. Here, St. Francis up 16-8, could be the last set of this match, and we'll be back in just a minute.
I was at a fire department training, and I had these shooting pains when they just shot right up into my temples. I went to Palo Alto Medical to follow up with my doctor. He found a heart murmur. It turned out to be an aortic aneurysm, which would have killed me had he not got it.
I don't really like going to the doctor, but I truly like going and seeing the guy. He's a great doctor. He saved my life.
Coach Chen trying to get his team fired up here. They started off this set 3 with a nice little rally, but St. Francis has come back with a vengeance. St. Francis is playing inspired, and Mountain View's playing rather flat. This could be their first loss of the season for Mountain View if St. Francis continues to have their way. Low back to serve. There was a bit of a questionable call there. St. Francis killed it right and pushed it into the net, but I think they would have had the point anyway. And low serves wide. St. Francis just not making many mistakes tonight, and that's really been the difference. McLaughlin with a jump serve. Off the block. Nicely played. That was a quick one set right in the middle for St. Francis. Menace back to serve. Back set. And it goes wide. Flowers back to serve for Mountain View. And coming into as a substitute is the libero. It's Colin Fritzie. Nice little float. Quick, and it got underneath that and it went long. Mountain View has a deep hole to dig out of here. Nice quick set there by St. Francis. Matt Larson with a kill before the Mountain View block could get up. Larson back to serve. Mountain View was there with the block. That was Logan and McDonald, the block for Mountain View. Logan Allen back to serve. Just over the net. Cross court to Stubner, little dink, and they call a net on St. Francis. Point goes to Mountain View. Allen back to serve. They call a double hit on that. Timeout called by St. Francis. St. Francis up 19-14 here in the set 3 in the best of 5. We'll be back in just a minute after this timeout.
Hi, I'm Ricky Appler with Spartan Sports Camp. Brought to you by the Mountain View High School Athletic Department, Spartan Sports Camp offers multi-sport camps for kids in grades 3 through 6, as well as sport-specific camps for grades 6 through 9. We give campers the opportunity to receive instruction from the Mountain View High School coaching staff and student athletes. Strength camps are also available throughout the summer. For registration info, visit our website at www.spartansportscamp.com. Sessions begin June 10th and run weekly through August 2nd. We look forward to seeing you this summer.
Both teams fairly fired up here in set 3. Last-ditch effort on Mountain View's part. Logan Allen back to serve, down by 5. Nice set, nice kill. That was for St. Francis. That was Jeff Costello with a kill. Hazelworth back to serve. Little float. Cross court to Dettinger, and it goes wide, so it's point goes to Mountain View. Stubner back to serve. Every point is critical in this set. Back set, blocked. Nice block there. That was Ryan McLaughlin and Alec McDonald there on the block for Mountain View. Mountain View trailing by 4. Stubner with a serve. Beautiful set off the block. Nicely played there. That was low with a kill. Low with a great spring. Huge vertical leap. Jeff Costello back to serve. Through the rafters. Back road. And it goes off the block and wide. Point goes to St. Francis. Beautiful kill. I believe that was Dettinger. St. Francis still up by 5. Alec Dunn back to serve. Little jump set off the block. Back row to Stubner. Back row to nice back set. Dettinger dinks it over. Beautiful placement there. Just over the outstretched fingers of the St. Francis block. Done to serve, down by 4. Loeb just bumps it over. And Mountain View there with a quick 2, right in the middle. And St. Francis wisely calls a timeout. Up by 3 in set 3. We'll be back in just a minute.
My parents are really slowing down. I feel bad I can't always be there for them.
How do I choose between caring for my mother and caring for my own family?
I've been looking into the options, but Dad doesn't want to leave his home. What do I do?
Struggling to care for an aging parent? You're not alone. Learn how Home Instead Senior Care can provide the personalized in-home care your loved one needs. Home Instead. To us, it's personal.
An exciting set 3 here at Mountain View Chester F. Awalt Memorial Gymnasium. St. Francis has been in charge this entire match. They're leading 22-19 here in set 3. It could be the final set of the match. Mountain View on a rally, though. They're coming back. The crowd is into this on both sides. Alex Dunn back to serve. Little float. Back set to low. Nice recovery by Mountain View. Dettinger across. Good dig by St. Francis. Blocked and recovered. And Dettinger again with a great cross court there. Mountain View in a do or die situation when they're pulling it out. Dunn to serve. Off the block. And Dettinger into the net. St. Francis up by 3 here. Little drop serve, little float, quick to the middle, pushed over. Beautiful block there by St. Francis. Couldn't quite see who that was. It might have been Stefan Lowe. And we are at set and match point. Very little short serve. Back set to Dettinger. Those have been very tough to defend against. So another set and match point coming up here. We'll have 3 in a row. Dettinger to serve. That was going long, but they played it. Back row attack blocked. Point to Mountain View. Another set match point. Dettinger with a serve. Back set. Pushed over. And that's it. That's the set, and the match goes to St. Francis. St. Francis gives Mountain View their first loss of the season. Mountain View was 22-0 altogether and 8-0 in league, and St. Francis has done it, playing inspired volleyball tonight. They beat the SCVAL leaders. So Lancers take it 25-18, 25-19, and 25-22 for a quick 3-set match. KMVT15.org/sports is a great place to go if you'd like to get more information or watch this game. Our producer director is Bobby Chastain. Our camera crew is Janet Wu, Lisa Tessler, Jennifer Schmidt, and we want to give a special thanks to Mountain View High School for their support of our game tonight and for letting us be here in their gym. Again, thank you for watching tonight. This is the Mountain View Spartans versus the St. Francis High boys volleyball. St. Francis taking it in 3 quick sets. Thank you for watching.